Woof! Welcome to Two Dogs Digs Tuesday Night Live Hall Pass. Time for What Sold in October. Thanks for joining us here Tuesday night. We are here for our monthly review of what we've sold in October, but not just us. We have our regular monthly guest, Carl Classen, is here, but we also have Adrian Betts is joining us as well, and we'll have them both pop in a minute. So if you're watching us live, great. Thank you for joining us, and please join in on the comment section. If you're watching us after the fact, feel free to comment down below. Maybe you'll see something you never thought about buying before. It'll give you some ideas on things you should look for when you're out in the thrift stores, and hopefully that'll help you with your reselling. We're also going to talk a tiny little bit about a couple of little news things, and we're going to talk about crossless magic again, which we just started talking about last week with a bunch of people because we started using it a lot more. So back to the more important thing. Who is here? Well, it is not just me. It's Carl.
Looking spiffy.
And Adrian. Yay!
I was looking spiffy. He got cleaned up just for you guys.
Yeah. Once a month, you know.
Rick will not be joining us tonight. He's actually got messy hair, so he doesn't want to join us. So he might be in the chat. So if you might see him in the chat, but you won't see him on camera today. So I gotta say a quick hello before we get more into it. A big hi to those of you who are Kennel Club members here. Thank you so much for giving us the extra support for $3 a month. Janet, Lisa, Diana, Louette, and all the others who've joined us too. Kendra and Elisa. Yeah, no, there wasn't a show on Halloween. Hey, Greg, watching from the TV or from the computer. Kevin, Sherry, hello. Heather, let's see, and Bob, who's in the background. So thanks again for popping in here to see what it is that we've been selling over the past month. One of the things that I sort of wanted to start out with as the beginning of the show was just a reminder for those of you who are you may not be in the craft group. I'm sure some of you are, but I can never tell. Hey, Brian, that's a name I don't recognize. Welcome. And Rick is watching on the TV. For those of you who may not be in the craft group, the Canadian Resellers and Fantastic Thrifters Group, also known as the Crazy Resellers, we got about 3,000 members now. We got about 500 people have joined us in the past few months. So it's amazing how much we're growing in that group. But one of the things that we were posting in there happened to be just literally a couple of days ago. Actually, it might have even been yesterday. We went to the thrift store just to take a quick look and ended up picking up this entire batch of Hallmark Frosty Friends ornaments. Now, this is something that is, I'm trying to just remind everybody that Christmas is here, and depending upon where your thrift store is, boom, they are just going crazy. Like the one thrift store I happened to go by, all of the Halloween stuff got cleared out, obviously, and they are just loading shelf after shelf after shelf with Christmas stuff now. So I just happened to go and found a total of 15 of these Frosty Friends ornaments in their boxes. They were $3.99 for a pair, so basically $2 a piece. And the reason I picked them up is because it happens to be, when you're looking, I want you to keep your eyes open for Hallmark boxed ornaments. And I don't want you to even just pass them by because you go, I've told people this before, but it's a big tip because it says like Baby's First Christmas, 1995. Don't pass those by. Look those up because you will not believe how much some of those dated first home, first pet, first baby Christmas ornaments can go for. And some of them are delicate. And there's like I think it's a porcelain baby rattle from like 2003. It goes for $200 and some odd dollars. So take a look at those things. Frosty Friends is one of the longest running ornament series that Hallmark has done. And the one thing about it is the early Frosty Friends, the first 3 years, which is in the 80s, they actually can sell for up to $200 or more each. Unfortunately, I didn't get any of those. I got the 5th in the series and a bunch more others. And in fact, we have a couple here. So I'm actually putting these onto Etsy, and it cost me a total of about for all of those, because I used a 20% coupon, about $35 for all of them. And I'm putting just the ones from pre-2003 because the Etsy rules. I'm putting them on there, and I'm looking at basically getting about $10 a piece. So I'm hoping to actually, originally I thought, oh, I'll just make 20 or 30 bucks. I'm hoping to actually make more than $100 from that one little buy. So keep your eyes open. Christmas is out there. People are shopping for every kind of Christmas that you can think of. So much so that we're actually doing our own Max Sold right now, and we put Christmas stuff in those. Like I said, she sold a Frosty Friends for $75. Yeah, Diana says those fragile baby ornaments are the ones parents want to replace. Yes, that's the reason that they can go. A Frosty Friends up close. Well, I'll see what I can do on this picture. All the, if that's what you're talking about, this is all the things. They all have a little Eskimo in them. No matter what they have, they're always an Eskimo and a little friend of theirs. So it's usually some kind of tree with a bear or a squirrel or something like that in them.
Husky.
But I was just saying, we are actually doing our own Max Sold, and half of it is going to be Christmas. And we just launched it. It's a short-lived one, but we put half of the stuff is vintage, half of the stuff is Christmas in there. And as I'm just showing you here, we go down. Let me just make this page a little bigger, because we decided to risk it and put on something that I think a lot of people would probably say we're crazy to have tried to put it on. But here we go. Where are we? Down here. There we are. This is our lot right here. And you'll see we put on an vintage aluminum Christmas tree. We're risking an aluminum Christmas tree on here. Now, this has been up for less than 24 hours, and we already have a $72 bid on this one item.
Awesome.
We had to put it together, which took a longer time than we thought, mainly because the entire thing comes in all these damn little paper things. So we actually have to slide each one out to build it. But we're hoping, cross our fingers, this one actually closes for us on Friday. We're hoping to actually get, if we can, more than $300 or $400 for it. We bought it for $50. So I thought we're going to risk something like that for that. No, we didn't.
Wouldn't want to ship it, would you?
We all divorced.
Yeah, we're hoping that skyrockets. Yes, we are crazy. Hey, Charmaine, thanks for joining us. So, hey, and Holly, howdy. So, again, Christmas is big. We're doing Christmas through Max Sold. And this is actually leading us into our first thing. And it's something that Adrian's does a lot of. And I know some of you do here, which is buying stuff on other platforms to resell. So some of you just go to thrift stores and things like that. But Adrian is starting to get it down to an art where he doesn't shop so much as thrift stores, but he does shop Max Sold like a madman. Now, he does it for two reasons. One is for himself.
That's not a good reason.
The other reason is because he finds stuff to flip. So I'm just going to show you. This is actually something he recently went and got to. And it's part of our what sold. This is stuff that he's recently sold. So this is a lot that he got for $4.50.
Yep.
All of this, for whatever reason, he just decided he was going to buy that whole lot. And $4.50.
It's amazing, eh?
This is his first item. This lady, what did she sell for?
I accepted $80.
$80 US.
American.
For that from this into see, she's up in the corner.
Oh, that's awesome spotting.
She's a Hutchinruther, which is they're more famous for their naked ladies. They're these China naked ladies that they do, and they're very, very popular. And for some strange reason, this is a line of them, and they did young women doing stuff, and she's writing letters apparently. And yes, I saw it, and I went, I know the name.
Yeah.
At $4.50, why the fuck not?
So and you actually spotted in this thing. You spotted when you're going through it. You spotted that in the corner and went, I got to get this lot.
Yeah, that and the jug and salt and sugar thing in the front. That's Port Marion,
this
Irish pottery, and so that can go for a couple of bucks. And so, and then the figure at the back, probably nothing. The unicorn's garbage. But the ashtrays, they're both. There'll be something. I think they're listed now at 30.
And the interesting thing is, in a lot of cases, like these people didn't put anything on there. They did not put that no bottoms, no markings, no nothing. So now when you did this, did you just go, I'm just going to risk? And this was this was the lovely title, Mixed Lot. And the description, nothing. There's paper covering our windows because we're moving. Like that. That's it. Their condition is good. So
when I saw it, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if it was, but I thought it was.
Okay. Gamble was worth it, yeah.
And then it was. And plus, I also knew that between the ashtrays, the pitcher, the shirt and creamer, and her, I'd make my money back. It's only $4.50 for goodness sake, so why not?
So yeah, no.
Yeah,
not just that, but
I can redonate some of that other crap, like the unicorn. Straight back to
here you go.
Well, I think though, I mean, Adrian, if I recall correctly, one of the things that actually got you hooked more so on sourcing for this was actually, wasn't it something you bought
for my Mac
had another Mac sold and then thought nothing of it?
Yeah.
And put it in your Mac sold.
Right. I bought of this lot, and there was a bunch of vases and some fake like some dried trees or something and whatever. And I liked this one pottery jug, and it was going for nothing. So I got the whole lot for like $3. And I went to pick it all up. It was in this house in Rosedale. I bought several other items at that auction. I bought my wine cabinet, which I actually have in my living room. I got it there. It was a house in Rosedale, so it was good stuff. So I bought this mirror, and on top of the mirror were all these vases. And the mirror sold in my Mac sold for I think over 50. And then there was this one floral vase that I didn't know what it was. And the bidding went crazy. And then like at 7 a.m. on the morning of, this Asian woman knocked on the door like super early, like, and wanted to inspect it. And she inspected it and then scurried off with it. And I'm like, well, what was it about this ugly little floral vase that was so important? And then so I asked her, I said, what's so important? She turns it over and she notices this blue circle on the base. And she goes, this very good. That's what she said. And she took off.
I mean, I think you got like 100 and something for it, right?
145, I think.
And then when we tried doing research on it, and we think that we saw them listed for $600 and $700, but we never looked at like.
Well, it's like that bloody dog, right? The ugly dog I sold for it's an antique from the 1800s. Yeah, great. Wish I'd known that.
That's what's so much fun, eh? It's like some of the best lots I bought have been the worst described. Just like a bunch of random stuff in a box. Don't worry about it. And you get there, and it's like $80, $100 items in the bottom, and they didn't even bother showing it. That's what I love about Mac sold on occasion.
Yeah. The next one though is my bread and butter.
So the next one is another one. I'm just saying, Andrew said, I love the weird miscellaneous lots. The local auctioneer has no clue what I'll bid on. It's just Greg has a good point. One of the challenges with Mac Sold is that they have pickup constraints. Like you have to pick them up in a certain time. So we're actually going to be on a big call with Mac Sold coming up, their first annual sellers call for their managed partners next week or 2 weeks from now. No, actually, it's early December. And that's one of the things we're bringing up. We actually may be a test case for them to allow for multiple pickup windows. Because right now, that's one of the challenges. If you're closing an estate sale, it's not so, it's a bigger deal because you got to get everything out of that house. But if you're a reseller, you might be able to do things like we do. We actually have a list, and if somebody has, we take their email addresses, we send out a notice when we're doing our sale, and you have up to a week to pick up, even longer in some cases. So we've held stuff for people for 2 or 3 auctions because they pay it, and we know they're going to pick it up later on because it's just easier that way.
Do you want to know my secret? One of the things that close midweek, I call my friends Rick and Craig and say, go get this for me.
No, that's true. Because we were in Buffalo and I had to phone him. I said, I might want to bid on something. Are you doing anything Sunday afternoon? So, yeah, try and rely on your other friends. Those are your contacts and crafts. You never know. Greg, if you need something in Scarborough, you know that you can call us all the time about it. But here is Adrian's other big lot. And I looked at this and I went, I don't understand what you even looked at in this. This is, let's see if I get the picture of here first. This is the lot, and it is called children's toys. That's what it's called. Just children's toys. And here's the lot. And doesn't it look
that big
like something you would want to bid on? Doesn't anybody here look at this and go, I would love to bid on this? Well, what is it that you decided on this?
Well, zoom in on that little bag down the bottom.
Yeah.
And this is my
little bag.
That little bag right there. What you see in there are vintage 1974 Timpo Swap It Wild West
Swap It. Yes.
There are Mexicans, Confederates, Indians, cowboys, horses, and all manner of fun stuff in there. And I
spotted that from this photo.
Easy. It's like, those are toy soldiers. What kind of toys are that? Oh my God, those are Timpo. Oh my God, those are Mexicans. I'm buying that. I would have bid up to $30 for it, easily, maybe more.
And why would you bid that much money? Because let's take a look at what he found in that little bag for $5. And this is, I think you said this is not even half the bag.
Yeah, I've sold 11 lots from this bag already, and there's still like 4 more on my site, on my shop. These are detail Mexicans. The bottle green ones are particularly hard to find, and so they're very popular because it's an unusual color.
So you sold those took an offer on 40.
Yep. This guy went to Australia, and I sold him for about 20-something, $30 American.
Wow.
Plus shipping.
For one guy. This guy was for 25 or just under 25. And he's a Timpo Series 4 cowboy, which are the rarest of the rare. But both those guys are. But his legs are Series 2 7th Cavalry. But if you mix him with a blonde head, he becomes Custer, and that becomes a ridiculously crazy expensive toy soldier. You can sell it for like $1,000. And these are just Indians, which I sold for a couple of bucks.
As you can see, that some of them, like this guy on the end, he's missing whatever tomahawk or whatever he would have had on his hand. But these are made up of all small little pieces, right? Like the hat comes off, the hair comes off, the necklace comes off. All of them are different pieces.
So you can build your own figure. So you'd buy a set of the toys, and then you'd swap the legs, the heads, the hats, the jewelry, the guns, whatever, and you can make your own sort of characters out of it.
Are they marked Timpo on them?
Yes. If you look on the base on any of them, if you zoom in to the base, you'll find that it says Timpo. I always do a close-up of it on one of the pictures of the Timpo to prove that it's Timpo and not another generic Swap It brand. And so yes, they say Timpo on the base, or they say Timpo underneath sometimes, but usually on the top of the base.
Like Craig spotting a Barbie. It's true. That is true. It is like.
Well, like I said, this is my bread and butter. Most of my sales come from toy soldier sales.
The nice thing about Swap Its too is they're plastic, so people don't necessarily know they have value. I have a bunch of the knights and stuff like that too, and they just look. You wouldn't necessarily know just looking at them that they were so valuable.
Timpo knights, especially the ones with the big helmets, they're big money.
No, so that's just it. Like as Carl said, I now, because of Adrian, when I go to a thrift store and I go to a Baggy Wall, I now look at those bags that have filled with plastic, just what I would think would be cheap plastic cowboys. And I look for, literally what I watch out for is those cowboys or Indians that look like they have little separate colored pieces. This is what I try to spot versus a solid colored piece. This is what I know I look for as a non-expert in this. I look for the things going, okay, I've got to try and find, like even this here, the top one, you're not sure if you can see it or not, but these top guys, they don't have their hats. Their sombreros are missing from them, but that still doesn't matter. It's a reason for you to look them up.
But even the knockoff figures have value as well. Like, for example, I sold a group of Transagram, which is a 1970s Hong Kong rubber Swap It. I sold a bunch of Indians and cowboys and cavalry, and I made probably $20 on each lot. So, you know.
Elisa wants to know, did you get a Carl cut?
Yeah, I got it short. Maybe a little too short, but yeah, I did.
Just as an FYI, Adrian is going to do a little show for us probably come January, and it will be about toy soldiers, all the different kinds from the Britain's kind to, and that will be for Kennel Club members. So it'll be a live show. He's going to show you some of the stuff he does, what he looks out for, how to spot it, what to avoid, what to even think about in bulk buys, things like that. So he's going to do that. It'll be a Kennel Club members only video coming up in January. So
that is a Britain series.
Now this is just it. You just watch it. When I buy a bag, he comes over and then just sits on the dining room table. He's like, "That's a this, that's a this, that's a this, that's a this."
Yeah.
So
All Britons though I got here.
We'll do that with Carl, and that's actually something. If you do, you might even be able to if you have stuff like that for that particular show, we might be able to have you send in photos, and Adrian can help identify them for you. So there's ways that he can help you on that as well. So that'll be coming up.
I'll be focusing on plastic toy soldiers, not metal.
Yeah, but you do know a little bit about the metal stuff too.
I know both, but you can't. I won't. We'll do two shows maybe instead of one.
Maybe 2 shows. We'll see. We'll talk about it.
People like it. Maybe
I want 2 shows. Damn it.
Toys are fun, but I want to keep them for themselves.
Yeah. Before the show, showing the ones I bought.
In my house, look at this. I got a giant robot behind me right here.
Hey, Michael.
Yeah.
Adrian is magic.
Oh, lovely.
Well, now let's pop from that into, just before we get into that, that's just showing you about how people should be looking at sourcing places, not only just a thrift store, but possibly local auctions. There's a lot of people who go to high bids and things like that. I know Heather and Bob, they buy a lot of stuff from there. And as I say, I always tell people in the Kennel Club, if you want to, and Heather does this all the time. I love it. She sends pictures of stuff that she's got. Barbie's coming up at an auction or things like that. She send me a picture, go, what should I go on this? Is that this? Should I bid on this? Can I get? And I don't mind. That's part of the Kennel Club service to you, is I'll answer any questions you can on anything. And if it involves something like, if you see a toy soldier or something like that, then I can always connect with Adrian and ask him the question as well. So just think about that. Look at your local auction basis, your high bids, your max solds, and think about that as another sourcing place. That's the one thing we want you to do. Now, the other thing I want you to do, and this is big because I started talking about this last week, and before we get into more of the solds, is I want you to be cross-listing. Why? Because it works. It's like, so last week, you might have seen last Tuesday, we put a video up for Cross-List Magic. And Cross-List Magic is this program. There it is. Cross-List Magic is this program that's a Chrome extension that allows you to easily cross-list from one platform to another. So if you happen to be somebody who has accounts with eBay and Etsy and Poshmark and Depop and all these other places, I mean, look at all the places you can cross-list to on this. You can Depop, eBay, Australia, Canada, UK, or US, Etsy, Facebook, Grailed, Instagram, Mercari, Shopify, Vinted. You can take your listings that you've got already built and cross-list them. All you got to do is be a member on each one of those selling platforms. And what we're doing is we found this over the past week or so. We're so comfortable with creating our listings in eBay that I'm building my listings in eBay the way I would normally build drafts. And then I'm actually, before I even post it to eBay, I'm cross-listing it and I'm posting it to a different platform. So we've been adding more and more to our Etsy platform. I've been doing Instagram posts when we've been adding stuff. I've been putting stuff in our Poshmark show. And again, it's so easy to do. I'm going to try and add this afterwards again. A little link somewhere up here that'll be showing you where the video is. So there'll be a link somewhere here that is like, this is the Cross-List Magic video. You can look at Two Dogs Digs. And again, right now, if you sign up for it, it's normally 7 days free. And then it's $9.99 US a month. But if you use the code 2dogsdigs, then you can use it, typing it in there when you sign up. You get 7 days for free. Then you'll have to sign up. And that's when it charges you. Put the sign up code, the promo code 2dogsdigs, and you get 3 months for $5. Also on that video, you'll actually see a link right in there. You can do that. Yes, it's true. Heather's got you have to make sure you remove the listing when it sells, but that's true with every cross-listing platform that's out there. All the different ones, they only cross-list, they don't monitor for you. So what you need to do is make sure that you're recognizing where you're keeping it, and that what we said, then you actually can get the ability, like we're naming our stuff now that this is in this box for inventory. It says cross list. So when it sells and we go to pick it out, we know that it's got to come off another platform. So want you to just think about that again. The more platforms you can do it to, and this is what I was saying, I literally right now have got drafts. And this is what I love about it is in the drafts, as soon as I make the draft, I think it's that wrong screen during big. As soon as I make the draft, there's the little cross list magic little thing on the Chrome extension. Okay. And then all I have to do is go up to here and tell it I want to cross list this on Etsy. And I'm going to cross list this on Poshmark. I will click on the plus sign and it is making my 2 listings. That simple. It's building my listings for me with all of the information that I have sitting in my eBay thing. And because I'm so used to doing it on eBay, for me, it's like, oh, this is great. I just do my normal eBay thing. Now there's my Poshmark listing being built. If I hit cancel, I can go to that and it will put in my drafts. Here's my Etsy one. I got to do a couple of things to this. I have to say it's another company. It's a finished product made in the 1960s. And then I have to finish off a few things in here, but it's taking my photos. It's taking my title. It's taking my description. I mean, you can't make it more easier than looking at this. And here's where I would put on my SKU would be, I can just put in there cross list. And then I know it's in more than one place if it sells. In this case, I have to add the category. So there's that's small things. And so vintage, Christmas, book, seasonal decor. There we go. Boom. Done. Now I can save this as a draft. I have to fix the quantity. Sorry. A couple of things I have to fix on that. But that's letting you know just how easy it is. So I want everybody to think about doing that. Think about crossless magic. All the details on how you use it are on their fact. What happens if the icons don't show much? All the platforms. How do you list in different countries? What the Chrome extension looks like? All that sort of stuff. It's so easy to do there. And again, the guy who's supporting it is really good. His name is Attila, and he's doing a great job. Anytime we've seen something strange, we email him and he goes to change it right away. So he's really up and trying to make this a great thing for everybody.
So Craig, is it just for sales or is it auctions and sales?
You would take it, if you took something that would be on Etsy, you could cross list it back to eBay. Then you get to choose if you want it as a fixed item or an auction. With the way that this is built, if I want to, I'll just show you, I haven't got this one completed yet, but here's the auction. You can see on this is set up as an auction. And if I click it, it's going to create that with all of the information. Because there are no auctions on Etsy, it will still ask me or Poshmark, it will ask me all the regular questions. So I can change it there. So what I've actually done is I built something right now that's, I built it in eBay. I posted it on Etsy to sell and see if there's any activity for it in the next week or so. If there's not, I'll add it to eBay. I also have something on eBay that's an auction. And when it ends, if it hasn't sold, I'm going to cross post it to Etsy. So, I mean, it's just getting those extra hits. And again, Etsy's got a little bit more money coming to it. And again, I say that all the time, and it's part of my what sold that we'll get to a little later just to remind you that Etsy people spend more for the same item that people, because there's less sellers on the platform and more buyers. So we got 90 million buyers, but only 6 million sellers. And half of them are selling crafts. So when you get into vintage stuff, which is 2003, oh my God, I hate the fact that the year 2003 is vintage. It could be something. Now, Elisa says, Carl, your inventory seems to be on fire behind you. I guess it's...
I gave rid of my old stock that way, my death pile.
So, not Vendu, not yet. They are adding platforms. That do the auto delist. Oh, okay, yeah. So that might, but most other platforms don't do the removal. So it will be up to you. I asked him to add that to his fact, but he won't. He says no other platforms really do it. So Let's see. Let's get on to the sales, and let's start out, since Carl has had very little to talk about. Let's start out with something from Carl. So we're going to go straight to. We'll start out with one of your regulars, Carl, just because it is a regular, seems to be for you.
Oh yeah, this
Camera.
yes. So I was very nervous sending this out.
Oh, why?
Gee, I wonder why. So this was now you're not going to come across. I love 30. Okay, blah blah blah. I love 35 mils. They almost always work. I don't pick up Kodaks, but anything else or usually can be is worth looking at least. I don't think it's very rare that they don't work. This is like however, this one is kind of the chance of finding this is pretty rare. And this is my sale of the year. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was very happy. But I don't get nervous when I send stuff out. I never look at once it's gone out of my house, it's like whoop for my brain. This one I was like, what's going on? Where is it?
Now I understand why you're nervous, because it's
yeah.
I never look up the prices on these because I want to be surprised too. So I just pop the link in. So
oh, you didn't know? That seemed better.
No,
yeah.
I did not know.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? So if they got it, I haven't heard anything. It's been days and days. I hope you're okay, but it does make me a little nervous shipping out value items at this level. And they only had one feedback.
Wow.
So
and it's not even a digital camera. It's just
35 mil films. They're almost always worth checking. Sometimes they do. Okay, when I say they always work, make sure that the front plate closes correctly. Sometimes there will be some damage. Check them in the store. Check them in the store. But usually the damage is obvious in the store. Like you'll see the battery compartment screwed up, or the front lens cover won't close over it.
Well done.
Very.
Yeah, that was my biggest sale of the year, though. So.
Oh, is it your sale of the year?
I think so. Yeah.
Now, where did you get this?
It would have been. So this is one of those weird. I've had this for a while, and it disappeared off eBay. And so somewhere on you can't see, but my thousands of inventory boxes back there, I had to refind it and relist it. So and I know I did not end it. So eBay does seem to once in a while drop listings for some reason, but it was Value Village. It would have been Value Village. It would have been like $5 to $10 at most. But
yeah. Just a quick comment or question. Susan is asking: is Crossless Magic good in the US too? Yes, Susan, it is. In fact, this is all the places you can list if you're on using Crossless Magic. So you would choose like Depop, which is US or international. You could actually choose to cross list from any of these platforms to others. So you click off on the little thing what ones you want to cross list to. So you could cross list from Etsy to eBay US to Facebook Marketplace in the States to Poshmark US to Vinted US to a Shopify store. So, or if you had a Shopify store, you can cross list that back to Poshmark or Instagram or Facebook Marketplace or eBay US. So it's good it's built in the US. But the thing that's nice for us in Canada and Australian we've never had a really good ability to use any cross-listing software. They've never really worked for us. So it does work. And actually, so Tina's got a comment. I heard on another video, if you sell $10,000 a year on Etsy, you cannot opt out of their targeted marketing. You could end up paying 25% total in fees. I'm not sure if it's as high as 25%, Tina, but that is true. Once you hit $10,000 in sales in Etsy, you are part of they put you into an automatic push for sales. There are options on Etsy as well, though. If you start sharing your store, you can get a 4% discount in your sale, like your commission. And I would leave it to somebody there. Tina's made a comment. It drops to 12% when you're locked in. So it's not as high as 25%. And Elisa decided to shut down her temp store because she's redonated. Yeah, inventory time. Yeah, you have to make sure you haven't done that. Believe it, we have a lot of those kind of things. And for us, we actually don't personally sell on Instagram, but what we're doing is we're putting links on Instagram to our stores. So we'll put an item on that we've got from us at Two Dogs Digs, and it'll be click here and you'll get to our Etsy store. But you can theoretically sell on Instagram. There are people who do that now. Lisa says she's been using it and it's been great. Yay! The big question from Elisa is the battery compartment clean on yours, and that you did put a good picture of it with the battery compartment being nice.
Yeah, if there's a bit of corrosion in them, I still get them because I'll clean them up with rubbing alcohol and test, and usually they work. And then if there is corrosion, I always say that in the description, and then I try to show a picture of the battery compartment, because if you don't, you're gonna get a question asking to see the battery compartment. So
now this is a big sale for Adrian, but it's a big sale for two reasons. One of which is the size. What is this? You have to explain to people what it is.
This is a Mark's playset from the 60s and 70s. It's called Comanche Pass or something at Falling Rock. Yeah, it's Ambush at Falling Rock. There's two playsets that use this mountain. There's also a dinosaur playset that uses the same mountains but in gray plastic. And so what you have there is some mountains with some bridges and a big rock on the top. And it came with wagons and figures and a play mat and totem poles and teepees and all that stuff. But I didn't have that. I just had the mountains and the totem pole. I used it as a display for a while for myself when I had with my collection. And when I moved it on, I thought, how am I going to move this? It's so big. Basically, when it was all packed up, it weighed 6 pounds. And it was going to be to the US, 50 FedEx ground. And then like over 100 and something to ship it by air. So yeah, I didn't know if it would sell or not, but it sold. Only one bid, but I'll take that bid.
All you need is one. One bid is all you need.
And the fun part is I actually bought this in pieces off eBay. I found the mountains in a church sale, but I was missing the base and the two bridges and the rock. And I bought those pieces off eBay for $10 here, $5 there, right? Until I got the whole set and was able to sell the whole thing for $150.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's fun.
I know when you were looking for it, you were like, how big of a box? Do you have a box that's big enough for we were trying to find it. Well, I sold the box. I sold this box. This is a little tiny box that when you press this button, now I have a video, I don't think it's going to work, but when you press this button, it shakes and screams, "Let me out of here!" That's basically all it does. It is about this big.
Yeah.
Like, it's not really big, but size of a coffee cup. We've actually had a couple of these, but I found these two in a baggie wall. This one, and there's the bottom. It has a suction cup on the bottom of it, and it actually has a motion sensor, so you can do it one of two ways. You can either press the little button that's here and make it work, or you can turn it on, and then anytime anybody walks by, it shakes and goes, "Let me out of here! Let me out of here!" Well, this is used, and we sold it for $40.
Wow.
And again, I got two of these in one baggie for like $3.99. The other one is now up for $28 because it's got tape holding the bottom of it up together. But it's like 1997, a vibrating electronic toy. Again, I don't know whether on my listing it will. I don't think I can get it to show me the video, which makes it sing and dance and do all that silly stuff. But that's a much smaller box than I needed to ship that in, Adrian, than what you needed to ship what it was that you had.
It was huge.
I just saw a comment. Oh, actually, a picture with a tape measure would have been helpful. I'm not sure if Heather's asking about putting that for my thing or for yours.
Anyone who knew what that playset was knew how large it was.
That's a big one. So let me pop into next for Carl is something that is a little. So this is going. Is this still going back to one of my challenges? I think, Carl, is you sold Gold Rush playing cards.
Right. Yeah. This was actually from that challenge of playing cards, and the only reason I sold this is that I got one of those cool messages And this is going to a museum display of all the promotional stuff for the Gold Rush. And it's like, oh, they sent me, they send you a nice message in the selling column. I love when I get those. It's so neat when something goes to like I've had things go to TV shows and theaters, and this is my museum display. It's really fun. It's $10, whatever. That wasn't the part of why I wanted to show it. I wanted to
It's
show
interesting though, and you showed it with a measuring tape.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know why I did.
It's like that's Heather saying,
oh right, yeah,
I should be using measuring tapes for our stuff, and you're selling a deck of playing cards, which I'm pretty sure most people have a good idea on how big they are.
Honestly, I probably still had it there from a previous listing. I just went, bits and went. Yeah, it's a good idea though in general, especially like if someone's buying a collectible, like Adrian was saying, like they know the size of it.
Yeah.
But sometimes with tarot cards, there's different sizing of tarot cards. Sometimes or with forks and knives and stuff like that, I definitely will put the measuring tape in. Yeah.
Now this is actually, I think, Adrian, probably from I'm guessing from a baggy wall. This is Spider-Man.
Yeah. This is baggy wall. I put this in to show everybody. If you get the close up of his hands, if you can, for me. See, his hands are broken. Like his fingers have snapped off on one of the hands. He's missing his fingers. And he's missing his toes.
He is missing his toes.
But what this is it's a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man from the very first Spider-Man film. It's a Marvel Legend figure. And that little blob of whatever that stuff looks like.
That is really rude. Whatever is coming out of his hand.
It's on a string. It's web, but it's on a string. And if you pull it and then you let go of him, he climbs up the rope.
Okay.
And the rope function still works. And so that's what made him attractive to people, and that he was a hard to find figure. Even though he was damaged, the playability piece of him still worked. So I went, yeah, I'll have that. So sold it for $20.
Damaged and everything like that.
Once someone told me a good bolo for the Spider-Man is if the fingers are manipulable like that.
Yes, they are. They're articulated. Yeah.
Yeah, then it's worth checking out. I have not found one since I got that bow.
Yeah, anything from the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man toys, they're all good.
So
except for Mary Jane, she sucks.
In the baggy wall, you would try and feel the hands to see if
I just look to see if the hands are
articulated. Okay.
Yeah, articulating it.
So I'm always doing this to feel the cars to see how heavy they are, and there's Carl sitting in the corner like trying to play with the fingers, and Adrian just goes, "Oh, I'm buying now."
Yeah, he's like, I can see this from a mile away. That statue there, yeah, it's like $50. I'm just gonna run over there and grab it.
Action. Well, Adrian does that quite a lot, actually.
So for parts, I have
a lot of stuff for parts and or to complete too.
Yeah, I have a listing of build a figure parts that's literally it's a multi-listing, and it's got just pieces of figures, and it's up there year round. I just add to it whenever I get more, and it just stays up there forever.
What's that, Carl? You've got?
I picked up these last Friday. These are a bunch of Transformer Beastmasters, and none of them are complete. But I have sold the pieces. Like someone will need the leg or whatever. It was like $2.99 for a moderate sized bag of these things. So yeah, I would definitely pick up, even if I know they're not complete when I got
them. I'm going to show you something that, again, this is we talked about Etsy, and we have done a couple of sales this past month on Etsy. It is one of our biggest sales ever for the month on Etsy in our history of being on Etsy. And we only have 70, 80 items on there right now on our store. This actually is a McDonald's mug, and it's a very, very common mug, but this is the Canadian edition of that mug. So very, very common, but you'll see, obviously, it's got the little Canada symbol right there. And just because of that, this is a Fire King mug from Canada, and it says Good Morning Canada on it. We managed to sell this for $55.
Oh my God.
And I know, actually, like Lisa says, I was going to say, Lisa Boland sells those for $50 all day long. Lisa Wallace says those sell well. She sold for 50 US. We put it for 55 Canadian. So, but yeah, so it's, and you wouldn't think it.
Yeah.
But that's just it.
I think I've walked past those before, but no.
Yeah, and but again, it is all about the Canadian logo. If you don't have the Canadian logo, this is about a $3 mug. So the reason it gets bought is for McDonald collectors to have that extra thing in their collection, that they may have the whole set in the US side, because it was a very common morning mug for when McDonald's introduced their breakfast. But it's obviously there's people who want those, and it says Good Morning Canada on it. Yeah. But the other one, again, this is Etsy. I'm just going to remind you, this is one of the interesting things is we put those up there, and this is part of our sales this month. We did our Lennox spice jars. We priced them higher on Etsy than we priced them anywhere else, and I've spoken about it before, but I just want to, it gets reiterating the fact that Etsy people sometimes have more money. That specific McDonald's glass, if I had put that on eBay, I would not have gotten more than $20 for it. I put it on Etsy and I get 50. These specific spice jars from the Lennox Spice Village, they are selling for $20 on eBay. And we have sold for $85.63 Canadian, $59.99 US. We have sold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of these on Etsy in less than a week. And in fact, the thing that surprised me, I didn't even realize,
Oh my God.
we've got over 1,200 visits to this one thing. We have 2 to this one. 1,200 visits.
$85 each?
Yes.
Damn.
And we paid $2.99 each for them.
Well, that's a woof.
So, yeah, I mean, based on that price and the condition on them as well, I could buy a set of them from eBay for $300 and split it up and sell it.
People do it. People do it. Yeah.
And people do that. Yeah, but we just don't want to spend $400 on something like that just to split up. But for what we paid for them, for 21 of them for $3 a piece. Again, yeah, we covered that off with selling one of them. So again, Etsy as a platform, if you don't know it, and Lisa Boland has been an Etsy person for a long time, and is like, we pushed her to get into eBay, and she's now doing stuff on eBay. But this cross-list magic, again, it's going to make it so easy for you to try another market. If you try nothing else, if you don't want to try Poshmark, you don't want to try any other place, the fact that you can also use Facebook Marketplace too is just great, right? Because you can pop it onto Facebook Marketplace like that too. So that's 2 of our sales, but that was, all of those made almost as much as Carl made for his one camera.
Yeah, that was nice flip. Yeah.
But
when you cross-post, do you pick different prices for different platforms?
You set everything. Yeah, you set the category on whatever you want. You put the price as whatever you want. So it doesn't copy. It copies all the information over, but your price, just because you have it $29 on eBay, doesn't mean you can't sell it for $65 on Etsy and $30 on Poshmark and Facebook Marketplace for $75. You can change the price on every single one because it builds it to a draft that you just have to do a little bit of finagling with as per the platform. Okay. So something you could sell on Etsy, Carl, even though you did already sell it on eBay, was this.
Oh yeah.
Isn't it a happy family?
Oh, so cute.
So the general idea with these is anything that's African American generally will bring a premium price. And
Mom's missing her skirt.
Yeah, but someone got it. So once I saw, these Fisher Price toys are okay if you get them cheap enough if they're not African American, but
yeah, Loving Family, Fisher Price Loving Family is very, very is highly collectible. If you go on to eBay itself and just type in, let me pop into here and go Fisher Price Loving. Oh, even saw when it starts popping it in. I love that. So Fisher Price Loving Family, 20,000 listings for Fisher Price Loving Family. And if I go to solds, 5,300 sold. So you are probably skipping these things over at a thrift store, whether they're African American, white, or take a look, $12. $29. And these are up to 2014. Now, if you want to sell something big, you can go to their big, huge houses because their houses sell. We've actually bought a house before and pulled all of the little pieces, the awnings, the doors, because it was easier to do it that way. This is the house I actually pulled apart. $400 for that house.
Wow.
And you see these kind of things a lot on Facebook Marketplace. Like this particular thing, you'd probably see on Facebook Marketplace for like somebody trying to get rid of it all for probably under $100 because they're just trying to get rid of something old. This one was in the box with everything and it sold for $450. So again, it's just keep your eyes open because look at all these things. This is all the big houses. But even if I say I only want to, I know a lot of people don't do this. If I just want to look at the price and I want to see stuff that is between under $15, 3,000 items are under $15. And if you want to look at this anytime you go, I just want to see stuff that's at least going to sell for 20, maybe 20 to 100. You can do that, and eBay will look it up for you and tell you there's 1,700 of those items that are selling in that price range. And you can see exactly what kind of stuff they are. A lot of them are structures, but you do get into just the people. All right, now the higher price stuff seems to be structure-wise. But that is exactly what these guys are. So they're about this size. They're all different kinds of family members. There's older, younger generations. There's babies. There's cribs. I have a box downstairs I actually have to get to that is literally filled with stuff that I got at somebody's garage sale. And it was a like office filled box and they had just dumped a whole bunch of stuff in there. I have that and I have calico critters, both of them just sitting in boxes waiting for me to break into some smaller things. The comparable version of these people, Little Tykes brand is all. Yes, that's a good point, Kendra. The Little Tykes is actually really good. You didn't even know they existed. Yeah, it was a big thing for these little guys that are out there. I passed a loving family grandma today. A newer version wasn't worth that much alone. But again, at least you're looking them up, Tina. That's the one thing. That's the one good thing is like, why is the baby's head that shape?
I like the Fisher Price chunky figures. They look like me.
Adrian.
I guess I don't know the babies, but again, Carl sold this for $48, and it's got wear on the toes. Mama's got no pants. Like, so again, there's wear even on the sides of this. I love this. He's got it. Lots of marks, worn paint, and signs of use, and still $50.
Nice.
So.
Yeah. And the nice thing about these, you actually find them. You'll find them fairly regular. Once every few months, you'll find them on the baggy wall. They're not so rare that you're not going to see them.
This is again something you don't normally hear Adrian talk about, but look at this.
That was a Salvation Army find on the Seniors' Day. I got like $2. I don't know, very little money. I don't know. But she sat around for a long time until I changed the title on her, and I added one little sentence.
It's Sydney.
Well, that's who made it, I think. But I added the bubble cut like vintage Barbie, and it sold within a week. And it went to the UK.
All the way to
the UK. And she loves it. Like, she sent me like not just good feedback, but she sent me an email saying, "Oh, I love it. It's perfect. It's right in the center of my bubble cut display." I'm like, "Okay, great, awesome." I think it was a pottery class, like some random pottery class thing. But it's all.
Oh, you think it's a random just like a
I think that is. It's like the Holland molds. Like there isn't. It's just like somebody did it themselves.
Oh, they get the base and then they just color it themselves?
And color it, did all the painting themselves, painted the hair themselves. So they went to a pottery class and so there isn't really a brand on it for that. It is a little bit of keyword spamming, and sometimes if you got to do it, and Adrian sold it, it's like...
But it does look like a vintage Barbie with a bubble cut.
Yeah. But I mean, some people are like, oh, you shouldn't keyword spam. I don't know. I'm sort of like, I don't really mind it. Sometimes you need to use it for certain things and not for other things. So it's one of the fun finds. Sometimes we go to a thrift. There we go. We go to an estate sale and see something, and I just bought it literally because I thought it was neat and I wanted to flip it. I didn't think I was going to get a ton of money for it, but I found this in an estate sale that was filled with a whole bunch of stuff. We didn't buy anything else other than this, and I waited in a line to pay $20 for this. And it is a feature album now playing plaque where you slide the record in.
Oh.
And I thought there are so many record collectors that this will be just something that everybody will want to have in their own collection, so that when they're playing their own albums, they can put it up right behind them to know, like, this is what's playing on our record player. I thought, I'm going to auction this to see what happens to it. We did. We didn't get more than one bid, but I still ended up selling it for $50. So I still ended up clearing about $20, $25 on it. I just thought it was cool. I was thinking about putting it in max sold, but I thought, no, I'm going to try it for like a flat 50 to make some money on it first. And it did sell. The guy loves it too. It is a really cool piece. Yeah. That's what I thought. And a couple of people saw me in line with it, and they were like, oh, is it? I was like, no, mine. Mine. And actually, I think the David Lee Roth album that came in it is actually worth about $20 on its own. I haven't tried to sell that, but that David Lee Roth album is worth a little something too. So I'll be able to make a little bit more money out of that side as well. Let's see, pop onto something else from Carl. We've got tie me on this one. I don't know what made you buy this.
This is my tie.
Huh?
This is my tie from the 90s.
Is it?
This is hilarious. It's like, I went to my closet, it's like, get rid of stuff. It's like, I'm never wearing a tie ever again in my life, especially in a few weeks. So it's like, I'm going to put this up for sale. And I've sold one of my old belts before. I got $25 for it. Woo! I just thought this was just a fun one, something a little different.
Silk Raptor's asking, I think you're asking about the record thing. It was 20. So we sold it for 50.
This is just for fun. I sold one something out of my closet. Ties. But
I have so many ties. Still got a few minutes left, so a couple more. Adrian's got another, like you and your.
Toy soldiers. I'm sorry about going about toy soldiers, but it's my bread and butter. These are Texas Longhorn cattle. They're from a German company called Elastalin. They're Elastalin swap it Longhorns. And
what do you swap on them?
Well, you don't, but they go with swap. Oh, okay. And I bought them for €2. And I sold them for
$50. Can't give ties away. But $50 again for two that have paint loss to them too.
Yep.
So again, a lot of times people think if they see something in a baggy wall, they see something at a garage sale, they go, I don't flea market. It's like, oh, this isn't perfect. So hopefully, even just with the stuff that you've seen, like from Adrian tonight, like Spider-Man with no toes and no hand, and one hand and something rude coming out of the other one, rubbed off like horns on a Matterhorn. Carl's got a whole family of which that looks like it's been through the wash and played with and got rubs to all the paint, and yet that's $100 worth of sales right there. Adrian's big thing sold for over $150, and there were little pieces and cracks out of it too. So just because something has a flaw doesn't necessarily mean that it's not worth something to somebody. Because one of the things we always say as collectors is people start sometimes with the worst condition and then try to get themselves to the best. So if there's something that you see that's like anthropomorphic and you go, well, I can't get this because it's got a chip in the lid. Yeah, but if somebody doesn't have that and that's their way to get into the anthropomorphic sort of series, they'll buy that for a chip in the lid for $30 versus $300 for a dead mint one. Yeah. So, and Adrian just held up something that he had that he just picked up today. It's the exact same. He picked up a baggie with a guy with no arms.
I have his arms.
He's got no arms in his. What do you call a guy with no arms and no legs? No.
I have his arms and his legs. But he's a mega figure from.
But even Tina's like Schleich, those are really good. And again, some even with paint flaws.
Schleich, are you kidding? I make a lot of money on Schleich because Schleich buildings and accessories, they're really detailed, and toy soldier collectors love them because they're buildings and they're out like like I just sold a water tower and a windmill, and I sold it for $50 US, because people will take it and they'll put it with their toy soldier dioramas. So schleck is a good thing.
Let's see, just seeing what else
like
I have. If I have anything else up, I have one more thing I want to show you. And again, this is a baggy wall thing, but I wanted to show you it because it's something I think a lot of people also pass by. And that's part of the purpose of these shows, is to show you stuff that you might think, I wouldn't get this. We buy and flip this stuff all the time from thrift stores. Promotional glasses. So these are promotional glasses. This is when you can see how much we sold this pair for. It is Royal Crown, or Crown Royal, sorry, and it is from the Crown Royal Championship Racing Series. And these were given away when you bought Crown Royal. When you, like, with one bottle of Crown Royal, you got one of these. And these show up at thrift stores all the time. And a lot of times they show up in their boxes. They were never used. We actually bought 6 of these in a baggie for $5.99.
Wow.
So we split them into, no, it's 6 or it's 8. Might have been 8. So I just sold 2 of them for $37.50 within like a week after I listed them. So keep your eyes open for that sort of thing. And then we filled it up with, I don't know what Rick did there. I think it's just black paper. Or it could be black water. So you could see the etching on the glass.
Yeah, that's smart.
Because you can't really see it there, but that way you can. So, but yeah, so and we took the picture of them with and without. But keep your eyes open for something like that, because it's the kind of thing that, again, you can spot in a lot of places, but you just walk by because it's like, oh, that's a, and I talked about those kind of things before a lot of times in our Thrift It or Throw It. So everyone look them up, because a lot of times they might not have a value at all to try and do, but you may find a value in them that is like, okay, this is something really good that I really should be thinking about looking up. So let me just see. I got one more thing left for Carl, which kind of wraps up what we were doing. I think I have one more for Adrian. I'm not sure if I do or not. No, I have one more left for Carl, but it kind of like bookends what we started with Adrian, with all his little guys, all his little creatures and everything, or all his cowboys and everything. This is one of Carl's listings, and it was a batch load, another batch load of these little Dungeons and Dragons figures.
Yeah, they're called talesmen, and I had no idea what these were worth. I actually had them in my booth here in Ottawa, and they didn't sell at all. And I thought, well, I'm just gonna put them all. And sometimes you have to kind of guess at a price because you don't really. See the ruler.
There's the ruler.
Yeah, need it for there. I got a good money for these little things, and
yes, you did.
$80, that's pretty good. Especially considering, like, I got these off a baggy wall at some point, probably $5.99 for the whole set. And but the key thing for this one that I want to show is, like, I had no idea how much they were worth. So I just asked more than I thought they were worth, and I got them. I got it pretty quick too. I think I got that within a week.
So yeah, look for anything that you can find that just try it. If it doesn't cost a lot of money, especially on baggy walls and things like that. I had a question about how do you make black water, and I guess Rick just added black paint to it. I don't know. Greg sold his broken zebra printer for $35. So even your own stuff, not only Carl selling his tie, but you could sell your zebra stuff. And I just want to say, and I think he might have gotten this at a thrift or so, but I really want to give a shout out to Dax Belanger, who sent us a little care package that was some help we gave him on his Mac Sold. And he sent me my new mug. Craig, the man, the myth, the legend. And I'm hoping he found this at a thrift store, but it's now my new favorite mug. It's going to be up here. And it's not filled with black paint or alcohol. Thanks again, guys, for showing us a bunch of stuff. Hopefully everybody here, those of you in the Kennel Club, again, thank you so much for being a member of the Kennel Club. Those of you who aren't, thank you so much. Consider it for the $3 a month. We hope we gave you tips that'll give you an extra way to make at least $3 or so from everything you're doing in the reselling world. Don't forget, as I mentioned, cross-list magic. Don't forget to take a look at this and consider trying to do something on another platform. Don't discount the fact that I was talking even with Carl saying, if you do this and you sign up and you spend $15, you get 3 months using the code 2dogsdigs. You get 3 months to try this. and see if you're actually going to cross-list something and if it'll sell. That's all. It's like you can't know whether Etsy will work for you, or Facebook Marketplace, or Instagram will work for you unless you try it. And that's what's so easy about this cross-list magic. Again, look for the video on Two Dogs Digs. You'll see it there. Thank you guys for being here for our What Sold this month. We hopefully will have you back again for What Sold in December. I know Adrian's like, I only want to have it when I got a bunch of things other than a bunch of tempo. But you had some fun things like the fake Barbie ceramic hand.
You had awesome stuff.
And Carl, hopefully you'll sell another one of your ties or something else from your club.
Yeah.
I'm going to sell all my ties. I have tons of them. I never wear them.
I just donated a whole bunch of my ties because I thought I'm not going to be bothered. Actually, no, I think I put them into a box. We're going to do it on a Whatnot show. We're going to do a Whatnot vintage accessory show too, because I used to wear ties all the time. I used to have about 100 of them. Thanks again to everybody. Hey, Flowcrafters. Yeah, good. I'm glad to see you're going to try it. Entertaining and educational. Thank you, Sherry. Thanks to everybody for popping in. We will see you again soon, and watch again for anything new coming up. Oh, there's Rick Woofs from everywhere. Watch again for any new videos coming up. We're going to do one later on this week on, are you using Terapeak to your best abilities? Because there's some tips about Terapeak that could help you a lot when you're researching. Thanks again. I'm Bad Dog. For Carl and Adrian, we are out of here. We'll see you.